never seen before. Like, come pray with God's children who've been praying to God before you ever brought the word God here. Because the way I see it, the word God, it's not as old as our original word we had for so-called God. Meaning like God is an English term.
Okay.
But the word we have is older than that English term God. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, that's why in that song we heard Josh Elway, he's like, we barely heard of you not too long ago, because it's like English is a foreign language to this land. So like there's original language to this land, and that's why I say like, for us, that word God is still very fresh to our ears, because we've already had a bigger concept than just that word God. And that's where I'm trying to teach like so-called religious believers.
Yeah.
Like, it's beyond that. Like, we already knew that it encompassed all creation, from the heavens to the earth, meaning like the galaxies, the Milky Ways, the stars.
Yeah.
Like, we already knew that God and Mother Earth are the providers of that all for us. And it's like, that's where, for me, it's kind of like, why have to go any deeper other than like, what do you need to do to make your time here okay? Because I'm not going to say you're not going to go through pain and suffering. But to me, if you can know how to talk to God and deal with God in a good way, like, to me, it's going to make those bumps, ups and downs, a little more, less fucking turbulent, more stressful. I'm not saying it's not going to be stressful or painful, but it makes it that much less. Meaning, like, I love comfort in distress versus no comfort in distress. And to me, that's what I'm trying to strive for the people. Is like, everyone's always bitching about their lives and what they're going through and their experiences as themselves and what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've hurt, what's hurt them, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, like, we all been through it. Some have been through very high degrees of trauma. Some have been through very low degrees of trauma.
Yeah.
But whether you're low trauma or high trauma, that doesn't make your trauma any more valid than the trauma down here or the trauma up here. Because in my eyes, through my work, trauma is trauma. Of course, there's levels. We can break down the fact that, yes, this trauma can cause this amount of mental, physical, and spiritual distress, just as much as this trauma can cause. But we all know high levels of trauma can cause different reactions in different people.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about that. It's like, my goal is to say, how can we get rid of those traumas, or how can we cope with those traumas to where we can get through what we need to in our days without causing too much harm to ourselves or others around us. And to me, I think that's a solution a lot of people need to start talking about nowadays. It's like, there's no need to be like, oh man, like, my story is worse than yours or yours is worse than mine. It's more like, how can we, through our shared traumas, how can we get past this that is bothering us, or how can we cope with it to see better days?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. They'd rather like drink, do drugs, fight, create problems amongst men or women, family, whatever it may be, right? And it's like, why not minimize that? Not saying you're not going to run into that, because obviously we all fight, argue, disagree on things, and whatever. But why can't we at least come to agree to, like, let shit flow, let shit work? Like, okay, we may have a problem, but what can we do to let that problem pass so we can get the work that needs to be get done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's just say we were talking about how messy this room is. Instead of talking about how messy it is, why don't we just start picking it up and cleaning up and the problem solved?
Yeah.
You know, and that's like how I see a lot of problems in life. Is like, okay, if you want to deal with trauma to learn from it, go for it. But if you're past that stage, why not learn how to get past it so you can enjoy the new things that are going to come in your life?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just a little word of thought. You know, church is people for Creator Mother Earth. Fuck the rest. There's a lot of shit going on here. People are gonna doubt, but reality speaks for itself, man. And not, come on down here, man. Look at Church of the People for Creator MotherEarth.com. Find an email, shoot it my way, and just dance. So, everyone have a good night, good time, and I'm gonna hit this joint. My brother's gonna hit the road and be a good night. Thank you.